Hi, Briana. Thank you so much for having me.
So glad you're here.
Yeah. So, I would like help with how I've been feeling blocked by something that keeps me from showing up fully me. I have lots of Instagram videos already, and I've noticed that there's some when I look at them, like I'm fully alive. Like you can tell I'm really there. Like I'm like just wild. And then there are other clips where it's like I'm stifled, like very muted and toned down. And the thing is, my friends, they say I'm pretty funny, but that usually doesn't come across a lot of the time. And it's important for me as a coach because I believe to show up with all of me is how connection happens. And so basically, like, I'd like to explore what the block is and why I can't seem to just let loose, especially when I'm recording something.
Yeah. So are you saying that there are some times that you do though? You see videos where you're like, oh no, I did really do it during that time. And then other times you don't.
Yes, but the funny thing is, the times where I show up really alive is when I'm not speaking.
Mm,
So when I'm acting out something, sort of like a skit or something funny or fun, and there's already an audio place, like in place, like how there is for TikTok or Reels.
mm-hmm.
So, but when like I've recently shifted to making content that's more about me just speaking, to the camera, sharing some insights I've had with clients or whatever I've been thinking about lately, it's like, man, like all the energy is gone.
Yeah. Do you feel blocked in your throat when you're talking?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Does it, I'm just curious if you want to close your eyes for a second and just feel into it to see if it feels like it's blocked in your throat or lower, or if there's someplace else altogether. It can be neither of those, but if it feels like throat or lungs.
It'll often feel like my throat and also my gut. Like it
Hmm.
feels constricted.
Hmm. Okay. Well, you can open your eyes again if you want to. I mean, you can keep your eyes closed too if you want to, whatever you want to do. Um, so my thought is that there's actually two things going on then. And one is just that I would encourage you to pull your energy in before you go to speak. So actually pulling all of your energy into your lower dantian, which is a place about 3 finger widths below your belly button in the center of your body. So if you can find that place, and that's in the center of your body there, this is a place to actually, if you can imagine, closing your eyes and just magnetizing universal energy into this place. And you can breathe with it, breathing in and expanding it, and then exhaling and condensing it down so it gets really strong and bright and like bigger and bigger in that area. Once you have that, so that's the first thing to do before you go to speak. And then the next piece is to really listen to what your heart wants to say. So there's so much theory behind this that I don't think I have time to explain all of it. But when we are having challenges in what our solar plexus, our gut area, that area, a lot of times it's just like there isn't enough like oomph, like energy actually condensed down in that moment. It could just be kind of spread around, or we're feeling nervous, or whatever it is that kind of makes our energy go out. But if we can condense it down, then it can come up through that energy center of self-trust, and then it would move into your heart. And so the heart would be what would then help it move through your throat. But it feels like there's like a checking in. If you could do that with your heart, like what is it that is really the truest thing that I want to share now, that is coming from my heart through my throat and out into the world, so that it can be really allowed to be expressed. Because my intuition about what is happening is that there's a little like a little should happening. Like I should something. Like maybe it's, I should make a reel, or I don't know what it is. It's like, I should. And then there's pressure and it stops your heart from being fully expressed. But if it was just, I desire to share, to see what the desire in the heart is, I feel like it will open up that throat so that you feel like you can actually be a whole conduit there for whatever wants to come through.
Okay. I'm just writing down the part with like what my heart wants to say. And you're right. It's like there is some should there, because I get pressure from both ways. Like I've had a lot of people who've listened to me on Clubhouse or on podcasts, and it's different, right? Because you don't see me. And in that medium, I'm able to just speak and it flows. But there's been something about making this transition to video where I feel like I should look friendlier. I should look nicer. I should speak with fewer likes and ums and and right, like all the filler stuff. And it's like I start obsessing over the need to make it more polished. And then when I play back the clip, or I play back a clip that I think I sounded good in, and I'll watch it, I'm like, oh no, my energy's not there. And it's like, what on earth is happening? Because when I'm just speaking live, like impromptu, like you and I've had so many people reach out and message me and say, like, this one thing you said, like it really hit me, like it really hit me hard. And then there's that shift where I think I'm focusing on the things that don't really matter as much. Yeah.
Yeah. So my suggestion, if you actually care about not having as many ums and likes and all those things, which I don't know that even matters, is to have times where you practice that, just even in your phone, making phone memos and talking and being like, oh, right. Don't say, oh, right. I said, oh, right. I said like, oh, and just actually doing like diligent muscle memory kind of work there so that you can, if you want to, refine that if you want to. And then when you're making videos, just let it be however it is, so that there isn't so much restriction happening to your heart, because your heart is just like, I've got shit to say. And you're like, oh, but say it like this and look a little friendlier. And heart's like, never mind. And so then it looks controlled, right?
Yeah.
Rather than flowing. And I imagine that, even just talking with you now, when your heart is open and flowing, that you're connecting to people and people feel that. And so it opens up them and then they get transformed through your words. But that can only happen if you're in that same state, because we can't open up other people's hearts if our heart is like, like feeling all controlled.
Ugh, that's a good way to put it. Like when I'm thinking back to some of the last clips that I've struggled with, which have been like a lot, like the last 20 clips, it's this feeling of closed offness I have, and I'll keep reworking it. And now what I've moved towards is, if I feel like my energy isn't good, like it just, I don't feel good in the moment, then I'll back off for a little bit of time, and I'll remind myself like it's not about the how perfectly I'm saying something. It's more about what is my energy that I'm bringing to this, because that's what people are really feeling. And like I have a voice coach even who is trying to help me through this, and she has pointed out like the same thing. She's like, I feel like I don't really see all of you most of the time. Like I don't really know who you are. And I'm thinking, well, for goodness sake, lady, we've been working together for 14 weeks. How do you not know who I am? That just seems crazy. But then at the same time, it's like, what does that say about me? And so that's been a struggle. And, I've even asked her, I was like, what do you think it is? She's like, I don't know. I'm not a therapist.
Yeah, I think it's a protection, it's like, if it could look perfect, then you may not judge me, or you may just see me in the light that I'm hoping you'll see me in, rather than I'm all of it, right? I say like, sometimes I'm incorrect. Sometimes I say things that are mind blowing. Sometimes I say things that make no sense. Like, because I'm a whole human being, but it's the willingness to be the whole human and be witnessed in that. Being all of you, not being in performance, not being in like, I have to create a transformation for you. It's like, I'm here being real and raw, and your like open heart is going to create more transformation for people than any amount of performance.
Okay. I fully believe that too.
Yeah. And maybe find some, some situations, some circumstances where even you said you have with your friends, right? Where they're like, you're so funny, right? It's like, yeah, practice, like actually practice seeing if you can open up even more in those situations. How can I be more myself? How can I also not be funny with them, right? It's like sometimes we are performing funniness for our friends. It's like, oh, am I in performance? Nope, this is just truly me. And now I'm a little bit tired, and that's also okay because I'm a human. And now I'm also like a little angry because I'm a human. And now right now I am like just screaming for no reason because I'm a human, right? Like if we're all of our human, then we soften everyone else around us to be like, oh, right, I can be all of my human too. And then when our heart talks through that, it's like, whoa, it changes everything.
Okay. I am going to work on that idea, like the question you asked, where am I in performance or is it just me? I think that's a really good one. And I've been working on doing what is authentic to me instead of caring about what am I doing in order to get a specific type of reaction from people.
Mm-hmm.
And to be okay with the part of me that just wants to do something for me. And even then, like I still struggle with that because I mean, goodness, like I'm Asian, I grew up in Alabama. You can imagine what that was like for me. And it's like the constant feeling of not belonging, and that's been the struggle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So I think that really claiming your spot to exist on on the internet, because that's what we're talking about, but in all places, of course, but to say, I choose to be here and therefore I belong here and I'm claiming this spot. I'm claiming this spot. And you may not like it. Not everyone's going to like it. That's just the way it goes. Everyone's going to have somebody who doesn't like them claiming their spot. But to really claim it and say, I'm claiming this for me, and I am going to be free in my expression here because I know that my freedom and expression is going to serve myself and the world, even if some people don't like it.
This is really good because when you said I'm claiming this spot, I immediately had this reaction of yee. I don't know about that. And then the other part of me was like, why the heck not? Like you tell other people to do basically some version of that all the time. And it goes back to that feeling I think I kind of carry with me all the time. It's like, am I allowed to be here? Like, is it okay for me to be here? And it's like, who am I waiting for to tell me that it's okay? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, there's just no one to give us permission.
Yeah.
Because if we think somebody can give us permission, we also think somebody can take away permission. And so we just don't want to get into that trap, because I could be like, I could give you permission, but then that also means I could take away permission. That's not right. So we can't get permission from anyone else, because then we give them the power. So it's to be like, I'm the one who chooses.
Okay. I've never looked at it like that, but that makes total sense. If you wait for permission, then they can also take it away. It's like you're always you're always waiting and at the whim of others, of something outside of you. And it's like, why would you do that? Yeah.
Right. Because then we go into performance and manipulation and contortion. And how do I need to be to keep this permission from you? What if I do it like this? Do you like this? Okay, I'll do it like this. And then like, I don't like that anymore. Okay, I'll do it different. Right. And like, you can have your opinions, but this is mine. And I claim my spot on this planet because it's necessary. And we need you to claim your spot for you because it gives us all permission. Like, oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh. When you were describing the this and maybe this and then oh maybe that, it's like that's been part of it. It's like even though I've worked on coming away from that, I'm still exhausted. So that tells me that there's still something extra going on that doesn't have to. So
Yeah. And pulling your energy into your lower dantian will also help kind of clarify that often before you speak. So, when I go to talk, I just pull it all in because then I don't have any of my energy mixed with anyone else either. Even people I really love and adore. I feel like, yeah, and I need it all back in me so that I can be a clear channel and conduit for the person that's in front of me. Right. So before we got on this call, I was like, whoop, all back. And so that I can be with you completely and just be open and a conduit for what wants to come through when my heart talks. And so that part will also help kind of remove any performance or, staticky energy that can come across.
okay. Thank you. This was so helpful.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here and being vulnerable and sharing yourself. It was really incredible. So thank you.